Ron Juckett and Retro Sports Network presents Pro Football 1980, Week 4, from Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. It's the Oakland Raiders and Buffalo Bills, and as you can see from this, the Raiders lead 21-14. If you weren't with us in the first half, let's go through the scoring summary for you. Oakland got out to a 14-0 lead. In the first quarter, Jim Plunkett hit Cliff Branch on a 22-yarder to make it 7-0 on a short two-play 36-yard drive after Buffalo and Oakland traded interceptions. Then with 5:53 to go in the first quarter, Mark Van Egan plunged in after another Buffalo turnover on a one-play drive from the one. Buffalo got on the board before the end of the quarter, 2:33 to go. Ferguson hit Butler from 23 yards to make it 14-7. Mark Van Egan got his second touchdown of the day with 12:31 to go in the half after a long 9-play, 73-yard drive to make it 21-7. And Buffalo replied in kind, ending on a 12-yard touchdown pass from Joe Ferguson to Frank Lewis to make it 21-14. First downs, Buffalo 13-10. They both rushed the ball. Turnovers, Buffalo's turned the ball over 4 times and yet only trails by 7. Oakland has turned it over once. Time of possession, 14:40 for the Raiders, 15:20 for the Bills. The starting defensive tackle is out probably till almost the playoffs for Oakland, while White is injured for Buffalo. So that's where we are right now. Buffalo will get the ball to start in the second half. They work from right to left across your screen. Oakland will kick into the wind. Buffalo has the wind at their backs in the third quarter. So Miller stands at about his 8. Buffalo, by the way, was an 11-point favorite in this game. I don't think that really is the case. But as far as offense is concerned, they've outgained the Raiders on a net 236 to 157. So the kick is away. Return to the 10, 20, 25, the 27-yard line. Come on, pop up. Oops, what the heck did I just do? I did something here. I'll be right back. There we go. I lost my play-by-play screen. So it was Miller from the 6. He gets 20 yards before Owens makes the stop. So Buffalo starts on their own 27-yard line. Terry Miller with a 21-yard return, and Owens with the stop. All right, 1st and 10 for Buffalo. Off tackle left for Cribbs. It has not been a good half for Cribbs. He gets to the 30, however, on this first play of the second half, and is tackled. Oh, dear. I thought that was coming. We'll be right back. Well, somehow we have angered the football gods, and we'll now run a play. 1st and 10 on the 27. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the computer. It's not been a great first half for Joe Cribbs. So let's try him off tackle to the left, then I'll get it fixed again. He gets 3. Taken down by Dave Browning for a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7 for Buffalo. Cribbs now 10 carries, 28 yards. Browning 4 tackles for Oakland. So 2nd and 7 for the Bills, just the start of things in the second half. And with Joe Ferguson as the quarterback, Cribbs and Brown the running backs, Butler and Lewis the wide receivers, and Gant the tight end, with an offensive line of Jones and Devlin at the tackles, McKenzie and Conrad Dobler the guards, and Grant at center. Medium slant to Frank Lewis is the call. Ferguson has time. He dumps it down to Brown, who gets 3 on the play, brought down by Rod Martin as for a stop. It'll be 3rd and 4 for the Bills from their own 33. 2 catches for Curtis Brown for 15 yards. Buffalo, by the way, has converted 7 of 8 first downs so far. It'll be Curtis Brown on the trap right. And I've jinxed them. They won't convert this time. In fact, I don't think he gets back to the line. Nope, Matuzik with the stop. That's John's 3rd tackle. And a loss of 1, so the Bills will punt. So Greg Cater will punt with the win. He'll punt it deep, and it's Ira Matthews who will be back for Oakland to return it. Stands at his own 23, does Matthews, and gets the football. He will try to return it. Gets across the 25 and is stopped at the 26-yard line. Villapiano with the stop. That's the first time I've called his name today. So 1st and 10 for the Raiders from their own 26. It'll be Van Egan and Matthews to start at running back. Kenny King will come in on the next series. Cliff Branch and Bob Chandler, the wide receivers. Raymond Chester, the tight end. Jim Plunkett, the quarterback for Oakland. Van Egan, 8 carries so far today. 50 yards and 2 scores. And he'll get it on the pitch to the far side for the first play for Oakland. He gets it across the 30. And meanders and gets a first down and more to the 40. Gets away from another tackler before Mario Clark can knock him down at the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 18. Charlie Romes, the corner, had him, and he shook it off. So Van Egan now 9 carries and 68 yards, and the Raiders have run the football. They've run the ball for 106. Jim Plunkett's been sacked 4 times, and so he only has 49 yards net. So Chandler in a medium slant is the call. Plunkett to throw. Has time. Cannot find Chandler. Clark gets a hand on it. Or Steve Freeman, rather. And it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Raiders from their own 44. 11:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Go to Matthews off tackle right. And he is taken down by number 78. That is Scott Hutchinson for no gain. 78, of course, has been retired by the Bills. That's Bruce Smith's number. Wasn't, of course, in 1980. So that's Matthews' first carry of the ball game, and he has no yards. 3rd and 10 for Oakland. Clock running. Under 11 and a half to go. And try a medium hitch to Chester, but the Bills are right there, and Plunkett's going to get nailed by Haslett for a loss to 8, and Haslett celebrates, which infuriates the Raiders even more. So Plunkett now has been sacked 5 times today, and Haslett with his first sack that wasn't called back by a penalty. The offensive line for Oakland isn't terrible. Art Shell and Lawrence are the tackles. Marvin and Upshaw are the guards, and Dave Dalby the center, but it's older. It's a transition for the Raiders, and they're just not super. They're okay. Anyway, so Ray Guy will punt into this win. And Joe Cribbs stands on his 20 to return it. And he will try. He's had 2 returns today for 8 yards. He catches it at the 23, gets to the 25. That's a good return, but there's a fumble. Who's got it? It looks like the Bills recovered. No, it's Dalby. It's Dalby for the Raiders. And he recovers it at the Buffalo 28. So that's another fumble for Cribbs. And the 5th Buffalo turnover today. So Kenny King comes in. It'll be Van Egan and King out of the backfield for the Raiders as they start after the turnover on the Buffalo 28. King will get an off tackle to the left. He gets to the line, gets across the 25. Does he get to the 20? Yes, he does. He's going to get a first down and more to the 15-yard line before number 55 makes a stop. That's Hazlitt. At the 15, it's a gain of 13 on first down. Mickey Marvin, the left guard, makes the big block. That's the second one of the day. And the Raiders are knocking on the door on their first drive again. So it's a short slant to Branch, but Plunkett takes it himself, and he gets to the 13 before Kadish knocks him down. First carry of the day for Plunkett for 2 yards. That's the third tackle for Kadish. It'll be second and 8 from the Buffalo 13. So King will get it on the fullback dive, gets to the line, gets to the 10-yard line, gets inside of the 9 before he's tackled by Lucius Sanford after a gain of 4. Third down and 4 for the Raiders from the 9. If you're wondering about field goals, Chris Barr, the straight-ahead kicker, and he has a 69% chance of getting that. They keyed on Van Egan, by the way. King, 8 carries, 55 yards. The Raiders are 3 out of 6 on third downs this afternoon. I'm going to try a medium slant to Chandler in the end zone, but Plunkett takes off with it, and he gets the first down, and he gets a touchdown. He found a seam, cut to the sidelines at the 5 and scored. Art Shell sprung him, and Plunkett scores. So a 4-play, 28-yard drive, and here is Chris Barr for the extra point. Here's the kick. It's up, and it is good. So with 8:15 to go in the third quarter, the Raiders now lead Buffalo 28-14. 4-play drive, 28 yards following the Cribbs fumble on the punt return. And it took 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Now, normally we have a clear-cut game to tell you about for next week. But it really depends on what the Buffalo Bills do. If they win, and their power ranking, they're currently ranked second in the NFL, the Pro Football League, and the power ratings according to the computer. If they stay in the top 5, it'll be Buffalo and San Diego from San Diego next week. 2 division titans battling in the California sun. If Buffalo is knocked out of the top 5, then it will be the undefeated Minnesota Vikings hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we won't know until the game is over, but those are the 2 choices we have for you. By the way, Cleveland and Atlanta are still undefeated. We hope to get that they play a game worthy enough for taping soon. So Miller stands for Buffalo, stands back on his 8. Barr is ready. Buffalo just can't keep turning it over. Kick is away, and Miller will get it as 5 to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, and that will be a tackle right there. Rod Martin brings him down at the 25. It's a return of 19. That's actually pretty good. So that's where this drive starts. 8:09 to go, third quarter. Joe Ferguson and company don't need to pass all the time, but they need to get something on this drive, or at least not give the Raiders a ball inside the 20. Off tackle right.
Ball start. Offense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
So Jones, the lineman, moves early. I think that's a 3rd penalty against him today. I believe he had 2 holding calls in the first quarter. The call was going to be an off-tackle right to Curtis Brown. And we'll try that again. Yep, they get this one off. The Raiders can't stop him. He gets across the 20 to the 25-yard line. So he gets to the original line of scrimmage before Lester Hayes makes the stop. That's his 4th of the day. Raiders played the pass, and we're doubling Jerry Butler. 2nd and 10 for the Bills from their own 25. audible. It's still going to be a pitch to Cribbs to the near side. He gets across the 25 to the 30. He finally breaks one. Gets a first down at the 35 and more to the 40. He gets across almost to the 43 before Matt Millen makes the tackle, number 55. A gain of 18. Ken Jones forged the hole. That's the word I'm looking for, and Cribbs took advantage. So 1st and 10 for Buffalo from their own 43. Millen with his 4th tackle of the year. 1st and 10. Buffalo is 108 yards on the ground. Ferguson's had a pretty good game. He's got 156 yards net. Medium slant to Frank Lewis on 1st and 10 is the call. Ferguson dumps it down, incomplete to Cribbs. He dropped it. 2nd drop of the day for Joe. Clock stop, 6:35 to go. Buffalo from their own 43. We'll talk about the new setup here for play review in a second. Curtis Brown on the trap right. Gets it to the 45 before he is stopped by Reggie Kinlaw, a gain of 4. So it'll be 3rd down and 6. Curtis now 10 tackles, or 10 carries on the day for 66 yards. That's Kinlaw's first stop. So 3rd and 6 from the Buffalo 47, under 6 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Clock running here. And we'll go to a screen to Cribbs. Ferguson has worked the short ball well all game. Cribbs has it. Crossed midfield. 1st down at the 46-yard line of Oakland. Ted Hendricks with the stop. That's his 6th of the day. So let me tell you about this. If you're looking at the right, if you watched some of the other videos before, we used to just leave the stats up. But my good friend Al, Red Sox fan, who streams game, and you really should give him a like and a follow. He's crazy, man. He loves boxing. He loves football. I coach both the offenses using this game. He just calls defenses and does everything. I watched him one night play a game with the 56 Green Bay Packers against the Detroit Lions. Now, you would think normally that Detroit would be the team that was at a disadvantage, but this is a pre-Lombardi Green Bay Packer team against a championship Lion team, and it was fun. You should give Al a like and a follow. Al Red Sox fan and Al Red Sox fan too. 2 accounts for him to go through. All right. 1st and 10 from the Bills from the Oakland 46-yard line. So Cribbs 4 catches this afternoon for 37 yards. And they'll go to Lewis in the air on a medium cross. Ferguson has time. Can't find Lewis, though. He overthrew him. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10. Ferguson now 12 for 19 on the day, 163 yards and 2 scores. I believe he also has a couple of picks. Trap left to Joe Cribbs. Gets to the 45 a little bit more. He gets almost to the 40-yard line. Stopped at a gain of 5 by Matt Millen. So, Cribbs 12 carries, 51 yards. Most of that coming late in the 2nd quarter, here in the 3rd. So clock under 5 minutes now. 3rd down and 5 for the Bills from the Oakland 41. They're going to do a far side pitch to Cribbs. And the Raiders read that well. He gets a gain of 1 and is stopped at the 40. 4th and 4, really in no man's land here. I think they got to go for it, especially down 2 scores. So John Matusik on the stop. That's his 4th of the day. I'm going to do a short slant to the tight end, Gant. Ferguson has time. Gant drops it. Oh! Now, Davis made the tackle, or would have made the tackle, and it might have been early, according to the replay there. But, you've got Ruben Gant has to make that catch. He's a professional. So the Raiders take over on their own 40. Van Egan and King. We're going to spell Van Egan here. Art Whittington will come in and spend the series. 3:38 to go, third quarter. And it will be King off tackle left on his 1st and 10 play for Oakland. He gets across the line of scrimmage and a gain of 2 before Jim Haslett knocks him down. They watched for Kenny King, and they got Kenny King. Whittington now, number 22, is sweep to the far side. Gets across the 45 or more. He's going to get a first down across midfield. Across the 45. He's got more before number 58 trying to strip the ball. Does he do it? No. And so Isaiah Robertson makes the stop. Haslett hit him initially, but Whittington got away from it. Then Art Shell sprung him on the block. So a gain of 15. And the Raiders have run the ball for 151 yards. Raiders are going to try a long pass to Cliff Branch. Plunkett has time. Looking. Dumps it down to Whittington. He's got a first down. No, he doesn't. It's a gain of 10, but it's not a first down. Steve Freeman, who is the safety, makes his first stop of the game. And so it'll be 2nd down and inches for the Raiders at the Buffalo 33. He wanted to branch on the bomb, but Buffalo went into his zone, and he checked in. So Plunkett, being the smart veteran quarterback that he is, checked down to his second receiver in the backfield, and they got 9 3/4 yards. King off tackle right on 2nd down, and he gets a first down and across the 30-yard line before a gaggle of Bills tackle him. Lucius Sanford will get the credit for it. 1st and 10 for the Raiders on the Bills 30. That's Sanford's 4th tackle. King now 10 carries and 60 yards. Trap left to Whittington as he finally gets a carry to the 30-yard line. Gets it to the 25, a gain of 5 before Haslett makes the play. That'll be the... No, I think we can sneak one more in here if we call it real quick. Mickey Marvin, by the way, sprung the block. That's the 3rd big one he's done. So, into the win, Oakland will try one more play. 2nd down and 5. And it will be a pitch to the near side for King. And that one looks kind of screwy from the start. He gets no gain. But as we end the 3rd quarter, the Raiders now have the win behind them and are in field goal range already. It'll be 3rd down and 5 for the Raiders. Plunkett, if you're wondering, 7 for 12, 86 yards and a score. And it's a short scoring summary here in the 3rd quarter. It was Jim Plunkett called his own number and made a 9-yard dash for an end zone following a Joe Cribbs botched punt return with 8:15 to go. And that's how the Raiders have a 14-point lead. Both teams have 15 first downs. Both teams have run the ball considerably. The Raiders have run 25 times for $1.59. So Curtis Brown, the leading rusher for the Bills, 10 carries for 66 yards. Van Egan, 9 carries for 68 for Oakland. Cliff Branch, 2 catches for 32. He's the leading receiver. Joe Cribbs, the leading receiver for Buffalo, 4 for 37. And the defenders, Teddy Hendricks has 6 tackles. Williams for Buffalo, 5 tackles, 3 sacks, and a pass hurry. So 3rd and 5. Medium hitch to the tight end Chester is the call. It's thrown and it's intercepted by Haslett, and he returns it to the
encroachment defense.
Oh no!
Number 76, 5-yard penalty.
Well, Haslett made the pick. He got 16 yards. He returned to the 22, but Fred Smirless made contact before the snap, so take the interception off the board. So that's also a first down because it was 3rd and 5. So, a costly penalty for the Bills. The Raiders now have it 1st and 10 from the Buffalo 20. You see the line there was Buffalo by 11. If you didn't watch the first video, actually replayed the first half of this game. Normally do these straight up, but the computer had Mark Wilson as the only healthy quarterback, which normally wouldn't be a problem. Except for Wilson only had 5 pass attempts in real life in 1980. And so we didn't start a game. So Dan Pastorini, who they traded Kenny Stabler for before the start of the season, is out for 9 games. So I somehow gave Jim Plunkett some magic elixir, and his 3-week injury somehow disappeared. All right, 1st and 10 for the Raiders. They had the ball in the Buffalo 20. They are still working. Remember, in Action PC football, in this display, they don't change ends in the corner. The wind changes with them. So the Raiders are still working left to right, but they now have the wind at their back instead of kicking into it. And it's Woodington off tackle to the right. He gets across the 20-yard line. Gets actually a gain of 5 on the play. Isaiah Robertson with a tackle at the 15. So 2nd and 5. Start of the 4th quarter. Clock running. Raiders up 28-14. Plunkett looks for Branch on a medium slant. Has time. Dumps it off, though, to Kenny King, who's going to score. Couldn't find the first guy. Threw it underneath the King, and King marches in the end zone for a touchdown. That's a 2nd catch of the day, 32 yards, and the Raiders go up 34-14. A missed tackle for Isaiah Robertson. Chris Barr doesn't miss with the extra point. So with 13:59 to go in the football game, the Oakland Raiders expand their lead to 21, 35-14 on a 9-play, 60-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 42 seconds. The Bills have outgained the Raiders, 281 to 230, but the Raiders lead on the scoreboard by 21. All right, Miller is the deep man. He stands at his 8. Browning hooks the short man, the up man at the 15. Barr gets a boot on it, and it will be a touchback as they're not taking the 7 yards out. So 13:59 to go in the game. Buffalo has a lot of work to do to try to make this one competitive. It'll start with a medium slant to Jerry Butler. Ferguson has time. Has Butler open at the 30. He gets to the 40 before Lester Hayes knocks him down at the 42. Hayes has made a pick today, but this time Buffalo beat him. So a good first play for the Bills. They watched for Cribbs to run the football, and they threw instead. So 3 catches for Butler on the afternoon for 64 yards, and the Bills now have 300 yards offense. Cribbs off tackle to the right. Raiders miss a tackle, or at least the linemen do. Campbell gets him for no gain. Joe Campbell, the defensive tackle. So 2nd down and 10 for Buffalo, under 13 minutes. Cribbs 14 carries for 52 yards. The Raiders watched that all day on the delayed blitz. Gonna try Brown on a fullback dive. He gets to the 45 before being stopped by number 53, Ron Martin, making his 6th tackle of the afternoon. So we'll spot the ball at the Buffalo 46. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Bills. Under 12 to go. Medium slant out to Frank Lewis. Ferguson has time, but Lewis couldn't catch it. Osteen clung to him like a dryer sheet, and it'll be incomplete. So Ferguson now 13 for 22 on the day. They're going to have to punt here. So the short 4-play drive goes for naught. And so Cater will kick it deep. Ira Matthews, the returnman, but I wonder if the Raiders will bother to let it roll or what. Temperature, by the way, we talked about the wind. It's a stiff breeze. It's 15 to 25 going from, well, this quarter left to right. And the temperature on this first weekend of October, 50 degrees and clear. It's actually a very beautiful day here in Orchard Park. So the punt is a sideline. No, actually, I punted it deep. The wind gets a hold of it, and it's not a good punt. In fact, the Raiders will get the ball. Well, it's better than I thought it was. At the 18-yard line. That's where the ref spot it. So Cater 3 punts for 124. And the computer tells you that's an average of 41.3. So it'll be... I'm looking at the wrong side here. So we'll give Whittington another series, and Van Egan will spell King. And then Van Egan will get it on the off-tackle left call. It gets to the 20-yard line. It gets to the 25-yard line before Haslett and company knock him down. A gain of 7 on the play. 2nd down and 3 for the Raiders. 10 carries for Van Egan today and 75 yards. On the scoreboard, it's been one-sided, but offensively, it's not. The 5 turnovers for Buffalo have been mighty, mighty costly. We'll go Whittington off tackle on the right side. And no, Buffalo read that one quite well. Kadish with a stop, a loss of 1. So 3rd down and 4 for Oakland from their own 24. 4th tackle for Mike. And Whittington 4 carries for 24 yards. Screen pass to Whittington to the near side is the call. Plunkett throws. It's complete. It's not quite a first down, though, as Lucius Sanford almost makes a horse collar there. He grabbed him by the neck. It's a gain of 2. 6 tackle for Sanford, and the Oakland will punt with... You got Ray Guy into the wind. We wish Buffalo luck. Joe Cribbs to try to return it. They're going to call for a fair catch inside the 15. Guy gets it away. Oh, that was a boomer. That's a real boomer. It is caught at the 17-yard line. It is a fair catch. And it's a punt of 57 yards. So Ray Guy, who you knew was good, 4 punts today for 194 yards. Or a 48.5-yard average. So Buffalo's got to do something on this drive. Medium out to Frank Lewis is the call. Ferguson has time, throws to the sidelines. He's got it. Lewis has it, gets out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Rod Martin pushed him out. A gain of 16. The clock stops, 9:27 to go. 3 catches for Lewis on the afternoon for 64 yards. Cribbs on a sweep to the near side is the call, far side is the call, and he's chased out of bounds for no gain by Matuzik, and that's John's 5th stop of the day. 2nd and 10 from Buffalo with 9:21 to go on their own 33-yard line. Medium cross to Butler is the call. Ferguson has time, and Butler's got it. It's a first down and more. Matt Millen brings him down at the Buffalo 49. 4 catches now for Butler for 80 yards this afternoon. 1st and 10, clock running, under 9 minutes to go. Gonna dump it out on the flat near side to Brown. He's got it, but Rod Martin knocks him down for a loss of 3. 2nd down and 13 for the Bills from their own 46. Clock about 8 minutes to go. Cribbs on a fullback dive. Gets past Millen. Gets to midfield to cross to the Oakland 47-yard line before Osteen makes the tackle. A gain of 7, 3rd and 6. Buffalo goes in a hurry up. Ferguson works out of the gun. They are 8 for 12 on third down today. Frank Lewis on a medium pass is the call. He throws. It's complete. Gain of 11. Osteen with the tackle. 1st and 10. Under 7.5 to go. Once again, Buffalo is in a hurry. And they're going to go for a long fly pass to Butler. Ferguson dumps it off, and it's intercepted by number 35, Osteen, with a pick. That was a horrible pass. And it's a gain of 6 on the return. 7:07 to go for the Raiders, and they have it on their own 27. So with that pick, Ferguson now 17 of 27 for 225. All right, so 7:07 to go. Ball on the 27 of Oakland. Off tackle right to Van Egan. Oh, Oakland's going to want to run the clock here. He gets to the 29 before Charles Romes makes his second tackle of the day. 2nd down and 8. Buffalo wanted the run. They got the run, and they gave up 2. So let's throw him off with a screen to Van Egan, shall we? Plunkett looks for Van Egan on the far side. He can't get it, but he's hit.
Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 71, 15-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
If you watch the first half, that's how the Bills got back in the game. The Raiders just played typical Oakland Raider and 80s Raider football. Mistake after penalty mistake. This half, it's been Buffalo as Kadish gets called with a late hit. So instead of it being 3rd and 8, it's now 1st and 10. From the Oakland 44. Kenny King comes back in. 1st and 10 from the 44 after the flag. Trap right to King. Gets to the 40, across the 45 to the 46 before Kadish makes the tackle. That's his 5th of the day. 6:05 to go. Clock running. And once again, Oakland in absolutely no hurry here. Looks like they're going to win this one rather easily. Trap right to Van Egan as we go under 5.5 to go in the ball game, and that's a gain of 1. So it'll be 3rd down and 7 as Oakland begins to relax a little bit. Medium slant to Bob Chandler, but Plunkett will call his own number. He gets to midfield. Does he get more? Romes makes a stop after a gain of 4. It'll be 4th down and 3 from the Buffalo 49. And Oakland will run that clock as much as they can. And we'll go with a sideline boot from Ray Guy. So the punt is away. Under 4 minutes to go. The punt will go. Oh, that's a good one. That's out of bounds at what, the 8? The 5. That's a 44-yard punt. Oh, my goodness. So the Bills are going to lose this one, it looks like, unless they can pull off the ultimate miracle of miracles. They have all 3 timeouts. They go 4 wide. The other wide receiver is Ferguson. So Butler, Lewis, Piccone, and Ferguson. Cribbs is the lone back. And it's him in the flat. And he'll get it in the And no, he won't even get it at all. So not a good throw by Joe, and it's incomplete. One of the things I didn't mention, because I thought we'd have a better game here, all these fields, all these artificial surface fields, and this one was just a god-awful carpet here, had crowns in them, for drainage between the hash marks. Buffalo's it's better now with the new field turf drainage system, but theirs was so pronounced. I mean, you're looking down on receivers depending on where you were standing in the field. It just was terrible. Cribbs on the draw play, trying to give Ferguson some room. He will be tackled for a loss. A loss of 2. Reggie Kinlaw with the stop. Buffalo's not going to stop the clock. So Joe Ferguson starts to bob his head in disappointment. He knows it's over. My dad, who was a Buffalo Bill fan from inception, and who I'm going to make a rare dedication to every Buffalo Bill game to him, as we miss him a great deal. I would talk about Joe Ferguson, and when I first met the person that would become my dad, we would watch Bills games together. And Joe Ferguson, when he knew he would lose, he would bob his head negatively, and he knew a bad play was coming. It was called the Fergie Bob. I'll probably mention it in another video because this is a blowout, and I'm sure no one except for Al's watching it at this point anyway, but makes me think of him. All right, so 3rd down and 12 for the Bills, 4 wide receivers. From their 3, it's a short slant to get it out to Ferguson, and he has
interference, defense.
Oh!
Number 36, automatic, first down.
They will take the penalty because the pass completion wouldn't have been a first down. It was a gain of 10, but they needed 12. So it's on Davis. And so there will be, so it's a 1st and 10 from the Buffalo 10, 2:57. The clock stops here. So Luke Piccioni here. Let's see what we can call for him. Joe Ferguson's at the point where if he's sacked, it shouldn't be a safety. He has time. He has a minute. It's Piccioni. It's a gain of 10, but it's short. 2nd down and inches from the Buffalo 20. So Ferguson hasn't had a horrible day. 18 to 29, 235, and two scores. Bunch of picks, but not a horrible day. Cribbs on the sweep left. They just want the 1st down to keep the clock running. This will take him under the 2-minute warning. He has it. He gets to the 25. He gets to the 30 before Lester Hayes knocks him down after a gain of 10. 2:15 to go. Now let's see if they... No, I think we're going to... They go no huddle. Not sure if they can get this one off or not. It will be Lewis on a short cross. They do get it off before the 2-minute warning. Ferguson throws. Lewis has it. Gain of 7. Osteen with a stop. And it'll be 2nd down and 3 from there. 1:56 to go in the ball game. Lewis now 5 catches for 82. Osteen with his 4th tackle. So Buffalo has turned on the yard, 379 to Oakland's 247. But boy, oh boy, those turnovers hurt. Cribbs in the flat is the call on 2nd and 3. Ferguson has to look around. In fact, he goes for the other Ferguson.
Holding, offense, number 69.
But there's a flag.
10-yard penalty.
It is holding on Conrad Dobler. And so instead of it being 3rd down and 3, it'll be 2nd down and 13. And so with that, we will make some wholesale changes here. Miller and Cribbs are now the 2 running backs. Minucci is the quarterback. I don't remember who he is. Ron Jesse and Drew Ferguson are the wide receivers. As Buffalo goes to a blowout offense here, down by 21, Don't want to get anyone hurt at this point. They've lost this game. My guess is, unless, depending on the power rankings are, it's Minnesota and Pittsburgh from Bloomington next week. Miller on a sweep to the right, to the far side. He gets to the line of scrimmage before being stopped by Rod Martin. So that's Terry Miller's first carry of the day. Rod Martin, 9 tackles. It'll be 3rd and 13. So Minucci will throw it to Cribbs on a screen. Number 11. Cribbs has it. Has a lot of room. The 30-40 first down. It's a gain of 14 before Lester Hayes makes the stop. So Joe Cribbs, who couldn't do too much on the ground in the first half, does all right here in the second half. But it's too little too late. Miller on a trap left, as this will be the last play of the ball game. He makes some good progress with it. He gets a gain of 7. Brammer is back, so it's not a game. Serious injury. Mario Solido, and the Raiders blowout offense or defense will make the stop, and that's the ball game. In the end, it was a one-sided affair here in Buffalo. Oakland 35, Buffalo 14. So only 14 points in the entire second half. It was Jim Plunkett with 13:59 to go in the game that really put the game away on a dump-off to Kenny King, and he marched to the end zone for the score. So 35-14 the final. Jim Plunkett is your MVP. Buffalo outgained Oakland 400 to 247. 22 first downs to 18. Combined, they went 20 for 31 in the air for 256, but the 6 turnovers were just too many. Oakland turned it over once. Penalties, Buffalo actually had more than Oakland. They had 8 to Oakland's 5. Dave Pear will miss the next 9 weeks for the Raiders on the defensive line, injured in the second quarter, and White will miss a week for Buffalo with a second quarter injury as well. Plunkett didn't throw it too much. He went only 9 for 14 for 103. 2 interceptions, was sacked 5 times. It was Van Egan and King who split 24 carries evenly. 78 yards from Mark Van Egan, including 2 touchdowns. Curtis Brown, 11 carries for 64 for Buffalo. Joe Cribbs, 18 for 67. Cribbs did have 3 carries of more than 10 yards. Was also Buffalo's leading receiver, 5 for 51, along with Frank Lewis, caught 5 for 82. Cliff Branch, 2 catches for 32 yards. It was the Raiders just ran, and that's all they needed. Defensively, Lucius Sanford, the leading defender for Buffalo, 6 tackles, a pass defense, and a pass hurry. Rod Martin with 9 tackles for Oakland. They made in defense to pass and stuffed and forced a fumble. So that'll do it, at least for this portion. The Raiders have beat the Bills 35-14. We're going to do the post-game show and tell you where we are next week. And Buffalo does stay in the top 5. So we will be doing Buffalo at San Diego next week. 2 top 5 teams, the rest of the Power 5, Los Angeles, and they host San Francisco. I was going to do that game, but the Niners aren't very good, and I'm trying to give you competitive games. They don't always turn out that way, just like you just saw. But sometimes you do. Cleveland is number 2, and they play Denver. But Denver got a game already, and they weren't very good. San Diego 3, Buffalo 5. Atlanta plays Detroit. You know what? I got 2 slots. We could do a doubleheader. Detroit is 2-2. Now, we're going to go through all the scores for week 4. But in essence, there's 2 undefeated teams left. Cleveland and Los Angeles. They're both 4-0. Why are they 4-0? Well, oops. Let's give you a look at the scoreboard. Well, first, let's change the game here. So again, you get these Bills next week. They will play San Diego at San Diego's. But let's go through this Pro Football Week 4 Sunday, this first Sunday of October. Miami beat New Orleans 20-7. Archie Manning, the leading passer, 19 for 30, an interception and a touchdown. Duriel Harris, 4 catches for 115 and 2 scores for Miami. That's the big one. The Rams beat the Giants 31-10. Kelvin Bryant, 16 carries, 96 yards. Tom Waddy, 6 catches for 125. Vince Ferragamo, 12 for 19 for 190. 2 scores and a pick. Garrett had a 64-yard punt return in that game. The game you just saw, Oakland beat Buffalo 35-14. Mark Van Egan, the leading rusher, 12 for 78 and 2 scores. Joe Ferguson threw 3 interceptions but 2 touchdowns, 19 for 30 for 242. Cleveland beat Tampa Bay 23-20. One of the Pruitts had 22 carries for 91. I'm not sure if it's Mike or Greg. Doug Williams, 15 for 29 for 203, but 2 picks. Long kick return for a touchdown in that game by Davis. The Eagles beat the Cardinals 24-10. Ron Jaworski, 13 for 24 for 209 and 2 touchdowns. Roy Green with a 72-yard punt return. Crepful for the Eagles, 5 catches for 79. The Colts all over the Jets, 41-16. Burt Jones, 27 for 38 for 352. Get this, 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Dickey with 101 yards. Curtis Dickey, 24 for 101 and a score. Pittsburgh shut out the Bears, 36-0. Cliff Stout in for Terry Bradshaw, 23 for 36 for 269, a touch and 2 picks. Thomas with those 2 picks for Chicago. Houston beat the Bengals 10-3. Earl Campbell, 24 for 78. That's about the only noticeable stat there. Detroit beat Minnesota 20-7. Billy Sims, 24 carries, 113 yards and a score. Ahmad Rashad, 3 catches for 86 and a score. Tommy Kramer, 22 for 36 for 272. The Redskins, 28, Seattle 10. Joe Theismann, 13 for 20, 2 scores and a pick. Nilms had a 60-yard punt return. I believe that's for Washington. Art Monk, 8 catches, 149 to caught both of Theismann's touchdown passes. New England beat Denver 34-20. Matt Robinson, the leading passer in the game, 17 for 32 for 220 and a score. Also fumbled it 3 times. Oof, 2 run happy. Calhoun, 16 carries for New England for 76 yards. San Diego downs Kansas City 34-17. Chuck Muncie scores 3 times on the ground, 18 carries for 111 yards. Also fumbled the ball twice. That's not good. Green Bay all over Dallas 41-28. Eddie Lee Ivory, 21 carries, 71 yards. Lynn Dickey, wow, what a day. 24 for 27 for 343 and 3 scores. And finally, Atlanta down San Francisco 38-10. William Kane, 14 carries for 61 yards. William Francis, 6 catches for 152. And Steve Bartkowski had 5 touchdown passes. They'll do it from us next week. As we said, 2 top 5 teams according to the power rankings, the Bills and the Chargers from San Diego. Until then, I'm Ron Juckett for Retro Sports Network. We'll talk to you the next time.